These are the moments when nature didn't just break records, it shattered them so completely that scientists are still talking about them today. A lightning bolt that stretched across 5 states, a hailstone the size of a volleyball, a volcano so loud it was heard 3,000 miles away, and a wave taller than the Empire State Building. No human planned any of this. No human could stop any of it. Hit subscribe before we get into it, because some of these records came with a body count. Number 1. Mount Tambora, the loudest, deadliest volcanic eruption in recorded history. April 10th, 1815, Sumbawa Island, Indonesia. Mount Tambora wakes up after centuries of silence. And when it doesn't just erupt, it explodes. The blast was heard 2,600 kilometers away. The eruption column shot 45 kilometers into the sky. Pyroclastic flows wiped out everything within miles. An entire tribe living 25 kilometers away was erased from existence. Their language, their people, everything gone overnight, but the real damage came after. So much ash and sulfur reached the upper atmosphere that it blocked sunlight across the entire planet. 1816 became the year without a summer. Snow fell in June across Europe and North America. Crops failed. Famines broke out. Between the blast, tsunamis, starvation, and disease, 92,000 people died. Still the largest eruption in recorded human history. But from a volcano that canceled summer, we go to a bolt of lightning that crossed 5 states. Number 2. The longest lightning bolt ever recorded. April 29th, 2020. A thunderstorm moves across the southern United States. Inside that storm, a single bolt of lightning stretches from southeast Oklahoma all the way to Mississippi. 477 miles, one continuous flash, confirmed by the World Meteorological Organization. That single bolt was longer than the entire country of Germany is wide. It crossed 5 American states in a fraction of a second. Each bolt of lightning heats the surrounding air to temperatures 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun, 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and nature just ran one of those 477 miles across the sky like it was drawing a line on a map. The record stands, but from the sky to the ground, and a piece of ice the size of a volleyball that fell out of it. Number 3. The largest hailstone ever recorded. July 23rd, 2010. Vivian, South Dakota. A supercell thunderstorm rolls through, and out of it falls a single piece of ice, 8 inches wide, weighing nearly 2 pounds. The size of a volleyball, falling from the sky. The man who found it originally planned to make daiquiris out of it. He reconsidered, put it in his freezer, and called the National Weather Service. They certified it as the largest hailstone ever recorded in the United States. The updraft in that storm was powerful enough to keep nearly 2 pounds of ice suspended in the air long enough to reach that size, before dropping it on South Dakota at roughly 100 miles per hour. The impact crater it left in the ground was 10 inches wide. That record has never been beaten, but from ice falling from the sky to the hottest place on the surface of the earth. Number 4. Death Valley, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, the hottest temperature ever recorded. July 10th, 1913, Furnace Creek Ranch, Death Valley, California. A thermometer reads 134 degrees Fahrenheit, the highest air temperature ever officially recorded on the surface of the earth. Death Valley sits below sea level, surrounded by mountains on all sides. Hot air flows down and gets trapped. The rocky floor absorbs heat and radiates it back up. There is no moisture, no relief, just heat building on heat. For context, your oven on low heat runs around 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Death Valley that day reached 134. Outside, in the air, ground surface temperatures have been measured above 200 degrees. The record has stood for over 110 years, from the hottest place on Earth to the coldest. Number 5. Vostok Station, Antarctica, minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, the coldest temperature ever recorded. July 21st, 1983. A Soviet research base sitting on top of nearly 4 kilometers of Antarctic ice. Scientists record minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, the coldest natural temperature ever recorded on Earth. At that temperature, exposed skin freezes in seconds. Metal snaps like glass. A cup of boiling water thrown into the air turns to snow before it hits the ground. Breathing without protection can causes immediate lung damage. The temperature difference between Death Valley on its record day and Vostok on its record night is 262 degrees Fahrenheit. Both places are on the same planet. Both records have stood for decades. But from cold that kills instantly, we go to wind that moves faster than most aircraft. Number 6. Cyclone Olivia. Wind gusts of 253 miles per hour. The fastest surface wind ever recorded. April 10th, 1996. Barrow Island, Australia. Tropical cyclone. Olivia makes landfall. An unmanned weather station records a wind gust of 253 miles per hour. The fastest surface wind speed ever measured on Earth. Confirmed by the World Meteorological Organization. A Category 5 hurricane, the most powerful classification, requires sustained winds of 157 miles per hour. This single gust hit 253. The previous record had stood since 1934. Olivia destroyed it. At 253 miles per hour, wind doesn't knock things over. It picks them up. It turns debris into missiles moving faster than a NASCAR race car. The station that recorded it was specifically built to survive extreme conditions because no human being could have stayed upright long enough to take the measurement. But from wind that moves like a fighter jet, we go to a morning where the temperature jumped 49 degrees in 2 minutes. Number 7. Spearfish, South Dakota. Temperature rose 49 degrees. In 2 minutes, January 22nd, 1943. Spearfish, South Dakota, 7:30 in the morning, minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. 2 minutes later, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. A 49-degree jump in 120 seconds. Still the world record for the fastest temperature rise ever recorded. A Chinook wind, warm air flowing down the Rocky Mountains, arrived so suddenly that icicles reportedly began melting while the ground was still frozen solid. People bundled up for a bitter winter morning found themselves standing in near spring conditions before finishing breakfast. 2 hours later, the temperature crashed back to -4. The entire event lasted less than 3 hours. The record has stood for over 80 years. But from the fastest temperature change in history, we go to the biggest wave ever recorded. Number 8. Lituya Bay, Alaska. A wave 1,720 feet tall. July 9th, 1958. A magnitude 7.8 earthquake dislodges 40 million cubic yards of rock into Lituya Bay, Alaska. What follows is the largest wave in recorded history, 1,720 feet tall, taller than the Empire State Building, taller than any skyscraper ever built. It stripped trees and soil off the mountainsides to that height. The bare rock waterline is still visible today. 3 fishing boats were in the bay. 1 was sunk instantly. 2 were lifted over the treetops by the wave. 2 of the 6 people on those boats survived. The other 4 were never found. The wave was a megatsunami caused by a single catastrophic landslide in an enclosed bay. It will likely never be matched. Which one hit you hardest? The volcano that canceled summer for an entire year? The hailstone the guy wanted to make daiquiris from? Or the wave taller than the Empire State Building? Drop it in the comments and subscribe.